If you want to make money using AI, this video is going to be for you. I'm going to walk through the exact pillars I use to build my AI agency from the ground up. And this is an all-inclusive guide, right? Like if you understand these three pillars, that's all you need to know. From here, the only action step is going to be to go more into detail, and I have that at the end of each section. So let's get started. First going to be AI, and understand why we're doing this, right? Like what's happening is there are some businesses and they want to use AI. More specifically, they have some problems that can be solved using AI, but they don't have the time, the resources, or maybe they don't even want to have to go through all this AI crap of figuring out what it is, how to use it, when to use it, what's the proper standards, guardrails, etc. So that is what your job as an AI agency is to come into the business, use your labor, use your time to solve the business's problem, and in return, the business will give you money. So this is obviously the most important part, right? But I want to explain why that is. So when everybody says AI, right, that's actually a pretty broad term. There's many subfields and fields within AI. If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking of Gen AI, like LLMs, like ChatGPT specifically, but that's just one category, right? There's many more. But what I've noticed where a lot of the money I've made personally has been in either Gen AI or classic ML. So Gen AI is the straightforward one, right? Like it's like ChatGPT, it's like your Anthropic Claudes, Mistrals, Llamas, etc. The main thing is they're used for qualitative data, right? Like every single LLM is a text to text, image to text, audio to text model. And so those are the kind of problems they're going to solve, right? Like for example, somebody has some text and they want to kind of make a summary out of it. That is an LLM because you're going from some original text to a new piece of text. A customer service bot, same kind of idea, right? Like somebody's asking a question in text, you have a document that has all the answers, so you're going from text to text again. So within this, there's two buckets. There's closed source, so that's like your OpenAIs, GPT, the Claudes, and there's open source. So these are your Llamas from Meta, which is open source. Open source meaning you can see the actual model weights behind it. There's like the Mixtral, Falcon. There's a lot out there now, right? Like Phi. So if you're just starting out, I would just say stick to closed source, LLM specifically. Like, so forget about this side, forget about open source. The reason is because a lot of the hard work has been done for you. The models are already trained. The infrastructure, you don't have to worry about kind of spinning up a cluster, spinning up a server, and kind of getting that whole thing running, right? You just need to figure out how to use an OpenAI's LLM to solve a business problem. That's all it boils down to, which is pretty straightforward. If you're thinking of using something that's more, data proprietary, like HIPAA/GDPR compliance, some kind of security application, healthcare, medical, then you might want to kind of explore the open source side, but realize that there's a little bit of software engineering. I'm going to go more into that later to kind of get that done. On the other side is classic ML. You either know this or you don't, so I'm going to gloss over this. Any kind of quantitative data application, like you have some sales data and you want to predict the future sales for that company, or you're trying to figure out customer trends. So like, why is this person buying this thing, or what are they likely to buy based on their background? All these classification, regression, clustering kind of applications, that is where you would have to use classic ML. You can't use Gen AI for this. And this is one of those things, you know this or you don't, because if you don't know this, you will need a certification, you might need an education. You don't need an education, but you'll have to go through a lot of courses to understand this material and actually build this solution out, like from the actual getting the data, cleaning it, to all the production pipeline, that whole process. So I'm going to gloss over that. You know this or you don't, same thing applies, right? The action step is pretty simple. Just pick one and watch 20 hours of YouTube on, right? Pick closed source models if you're just starting out. Just pick OpenAI, learn everything about it, learn how it works. Watch 3 Blue 1 Brown videos on like the philosophy behind it. Watch StatQuest to understand how an LLM works from the inside. Watch how people are using it to actually help their business, right? There's plenty of tutorials out there. I'm going to be making some as well. And just spend 20 hours on this, like spend a weekend, right? Like 20 hours is actually a lot of time, but if you do it, you'll be ahead of like 99% of people out there, because most people don't even want to take this first step here, right? It's like once you spend the 20 hours, right? I don't know why that popped up. Once you spend the 20 hours, you will know enough to kind of go into a business and understand when you can and cannot use an AI. Like when I say AI, I mean like an LLM. After that happens, I would say just stop all the learning. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. This is a huge rabbit hole, right? Like nobody fully understands how LLMs work, and it doesn't serve you. Like you're trying to make money here. You're trying to build an AI agency. So once you understand the inputs, the outputs, and what kind of problems that these types of models can solve, just stop it there and start going to the business application side, right? Go into the next section, which is going to be marketing and sales, right? So this is probably the most important part, the most important pillar out of all of these, because you can learn all the AI stuff you want, right? If you don't get a business owner to pay you for that learning, that whole thing's pretty wasted, right? Like you don't have a business until you get a client. So marketing and sales is going to be the process of getting people to see your stuff, getting business owners to see your stuff, and actually convincing them to pay you money in exchange for your service. Pretty simple, right? It's broken down into two different parts for marketing. So there's outbound marketing and inbound marketing. I'm starting off with outbound because that is probably the most straightforward. So things like cold email, cold call, reaching out to previous friends, family members, previous clients, colleagues if you're in industry. It doesn't matter, right? But this is going to be the cheapest way for you to get your first client. And realize the first client is always going to be the hardest, right? That's like 80% of the work before you get into business and start getting in a role here. You just need that first, for me, it was just a simple text testimonial with the person's name and the company that person owned. And that was enough for me to kind of get other people to trust me with building an AI solution for them. That's all you need. But realize this is the hardest part. So that's outbound. Inbound is, so outbound is like going out and reaching out to people manually. Inbound is going to be getting people to see your stuff and coming to you. So that's stuff like making this YouTube video here, right? Like a business owner will be watching these types of videos and seeing how AI can help their business. But instead of doing it themselves, like I said earlier, they'll just reach out to me and use my service. There's Fiverr and Upwork, so posting a gig on Fiverr, posting, Upwork listing, whatever it is. This is actually how I started. I started with Fiverr. The problem with this channel now is that it's very saturated. There's like, when I started, there was like maybe one or two other people that were selling. So I got my clients, and from there, I switched straight to cold email. If you're just starting out right now, right, with any of these, like a Medium article is another one. And when you're starting out, like your only job, you should wake up and think, how can I get my first client? That's all you need to think about. So this is just going to add like another layer of complexity. Like this will obviously pay off in the long term, right? Like once I make these YouTube videos, they're going to be there forever. And like it's good. Like when I'm sleeping, clients will be watching my videos and reaching out to me and booking a call. So yes, this is better, but when you're starting out, you want to just get that testimonial. And after that, maybe you can start building your brand on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever that is. So action step for this is going to be pretty simple. Read $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. This is like a comprehensive guide to understanding marketing. It goes over every possible way you can make your stuff known to other people. And it's pretty well written. Like if you're in the business space, you already know him. Like he's awesome. The second book is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And this is a bit of an older book. I think it was released in like the 80s or the 70s or so. It teaches you direct response marketing and copywriting. So not directly related to marketing itself, but like more like an umbrella, conceptual understanding. And it's a bit of a harder read, but I would say it's helped me kind of level up my cold emails and making my YouTube videos and understanding how I position myself in the sales environment. So from there, we have software engineering. So this is a pillar I don't see a lot of people talking about, but it's very important because what happens is you have your AI solution, right? You have your AI thing built out. The reality is it doesn't mean anything until your people, your clients, your customers actually use it. So we're going to use software engineering to actually connect what you've built into production, whether that be in the customer's website, whether that be a platform that you build. It could be on WhatsApp, on your phone or something. It doesn't matter, right? But there's some kind of software engineering involved to integrate the AI with the client's business. And that's divided into 3 different categories. So if I move myself, this is one of those things you either know it or you don't, right? Like if you don't know how to code, then just stick to the no-code side. Use Voiceflow or Botpress to build your chatbots out. Use Stack AI if you want to build something that's custom, but you don't know how to code. So Stack AI is like a LangChain Llama Index wrapper. So it just like drag and drop. If you know maybe a little bit of code or you're like a little savvy, then low-code solutions like WeWeb/Xano for website development, that works really well. I've used that before. These are actually no-code, but you can use JavaScript to make it low-code. And there's custom code, right? So I think the main point in this section is just use what you've got. Like you're already going to be learning how to market, how to sell, what is AI. Don't put another skill on top of this whole thing here, because you're just increasing the difficulty curve for yourself for no reason. Like there's already so many use cases where you can use a chatbot and make money. Don't make your life harder for no reason, is all I'm trying to say, right? If you know how to code, obviously use custom code. And this is one of those things, if you start going to medium-sized businesses to enterprise, you'll kind of need to know it's an expectation because they probably already have like a development team. And the problem with these no-code solutions, even though they work well and they're great for POCs or prototypes, they cost a lot of money. Like I think Stack AI is like $200 or $300 per month, something crazy like that, for something that can be done for like $5 per month if you use custom code. The main skills for this is just gonna be Python. Like if you know Python already, you're actually kind of golden. That's all you need to know. Most data science libraries are in Python. And I would say actually most Gen AI libraries like LangChain and LlamaIndex started off with Python. They have the most support for Python, most amount of documentation. So if you're gonna build some kind of server, which you probably will for any kind of AI solution, like if you have a chatbot, right? You're gonna need the thing to be running 24/7. So that's what a server is. Like it accepts requests 24/7. Request comes in, you use AI, request comes out. So Replit is my recommendation. It's kind of like a low code version. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure. And there's obviously the big three cloud providers. Like if a company says I'm using AWS, you kind of have to use AWS for the solution, even if you're not an AWS native, right? Like once you understand one cloud provider, you'll be fine to understand the other ones. But that's only on the custom code side, right? Like don't get too bogged down on this. I'm just giving you everything in one video. If you're just starting out, I would say just don't even worry about this until you get your first client, right? Like this is actually something you can even outsource to like somebody online, and it'll be pretty cheap, and it's a pretty straightforward problem to solve. The AI piece is what you're getting paid for. This is the stuff that no one really knows or no one is spending the time to learn that you will be paid the big bucks for. So if you just focus on AI and marketing/sales, you'll be more than fine. So hopefully you guys found this useful. And if you guys have any questions, just comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.